mom and dad.
They just decided to get married, and he gave the ring back to the girl he was going to get married to. And they got married, and then they put up a tent. That's where they lived.
Okay, he's got your blanket.
And his mother was kind of upset because Daddy was the oldest child, and he was working at this point with his father. And probably part of the income for the household. So by then, Mother's family had moved to Florida.
So wait a minute, real quick before you go farther. Jack's mother was not your mother.
Yes, oh yeah, we had the same mother.
Same mother, okay.
Now,
And
Mother had
father,
gotten married to a Davis
different
and
father.
had Jack, and
Gotcha.
he was a
He was our half brother.
he was a railroad man, and he used to come through Muskegon, and that's where she met him. And he was born in no, they got married and went to San Antonio. That's where he was from. But then Mother went back to Michigan, where she had Jack. Now, I have no proof they ever married. I don't know, but that was the story. And his birth certificate shows Jack Robert Davis. I had no idea it wasn't Richard in the middle, but the birth certificate shows Jack Robert Davis. But he took the name by Otten, Jack Richard Otten. His service records are all Jack Richard. I don't know if there was legal things going on or not.
Legally
But
adopted or
then after the tent on Coney Island, after they first got married, they rented a boxcar. And they put all their belongings in this boxcar and had the train go to Tampa, Florida, where my mother's family was. And they pitched the tent down there on my aunt's property to start with.
We used to do things differently then.
Quite a bit different.
Come on out.
Now, Daddy
Bring the tent.
had worked in this linseed oil plant with his father. Okay, he didn't have any idea what he was going to do to support his family in Tampa. So, he saw an ad in the paper about a floor mechanic or something, so he went down to this Stress Center maybe is the name of it. Anyway, furniture store that had tile and linoleum. And he told him he could do it, so he got hired. And, no, Tampa, excuse me. Tampa is where it started, not Jacksonville. Then, the first day on the job, he wrecked the car. He ruined the floor he put in.
Oh no! Gee.
So we got 5.
He did nothing right. But they hired him, and he became, when he died, he was the oldest floor mechanic in Los Angeles County
Union.
Union.
Wow.
But anyway, his mother never approved of him going to Florida, really. But my mother's parents were there. And she owned a house on Broad Street, the mother did. And she was a firm believer in real estate. This is probably how I got into it to start with. So anyway, the house over to the right of her, facing her, came for sale, and Mother and Daddy bought it. Then I was born there.
Now, Fletch, isn't that Sulphur Springs?
It's near Sulphur Springs,
Yeah.
So then I was born, and they stayed there, and he did fine with the brother and everything. Then between Grandma Snyder and our house, there was a garage. And Daddy built an apartment above the garage. And that's where Joyce was born. There. And as of today, they are both still standing.
Really?
And they are
We have
both
pictures
in
of that.
excellent condition. In fact, the house I was born in, when we were there in '01, when were we there? '02 or
About
'01, was for sale, $180,000. And I know they couldn't have paid $2,500 for it. You know, I don't even know how they paid that. And of course, the garage, there was a living quarters up and down by then. But the same thing was there.
And then our grandparents lived around the corner, and Aunt Irene.
No, Aunt Irene.
Was it Aunt Irene?
The aunt,
Okay.
mother's sister, lived around the corner on the river. And when Joyce was born, the night Jack was born, Joyce was born, we had a cousin, Aunt Irene, which is mother's sister, had a son named Leslie. And Leslie and Jack used to go together fishing and all kinds of stuff on the river. Well, the night George was born, Leslie and Jack brought back an alligator. Great big alligator. It had one paw missing.
Named Lucky.
Blind in one eye.
Yeah.
So anyway, needless to say, they did let the alligator go later, but he missed.
I thought they tied it up in the garage.
Well, for a while, they had it there in the carport. It was a carport.
Yeah, the carport, and I got loose.
No, they let it go.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know, to my knowledge, they let
I
it go.
I
but
heard it got
maybe-
loose and because they lived almost on the river across from it.
Yeah, they probably got it, let it loose and get it.
This would be the river you fell into with the alligators.
I don't know.
Same
Learn to
area.
Well,
Learn to
This is where you
swim with
rode
it.
the
no,
So
that was
then,
the river.
Daddy,
This
he
is
moved
Salt.
to
Oh,
Riverview, let
okay.
me think now, it was Riverview.
Tell us about swimming. You learned how to swim, but they threw you in the river at 3 years old, and
Well, my understanding, when I was about 3 years old, I think, or how old was I?
3 or 5.
3 or 4 or 5, I was down on the dock and I fell in the river. And I guess you were down there, or Daddy was down
I
there, or
was sure we
somebody.
were screaming, I mean, everybody, I was with you, I'm
And
sure.
nobody, would swim out and get me, so I swam to shore.
She wasn't very far off, you
No,
know,
no.
it's just a dock.
And
she probably
also,
grabbed on, but she learned to swim then.
and then also later, if Jack was gonna swim across the river, I'd swim with him. And I'd swim as far as I could, and then if I couldn't swim anymore, I'd climb up on his back.
Well, you can
geez.
see about how far this river was. Now, there was a lot of
That's a big wide river.
reeds, or what do you call it, cattails,
Right, yeah.
and all this stuff.
Pretty big.
pretty good sized river. Let me see the river. Let me see the river. Yeah.
It's a big river.
Cattails.
That's a big
It's
river.
like the Thames.
But
And we
there was
live
a
right
little
there.
inlet to the Colson's property. In fact, it shows up here just a little bit. See that little dot?
You
by
want me to lay it
Colson's?
down?
Yeah,
Right across from us.
We
Oh,
live
yeah,
right
right-
here.
right
A
there.
little tiny inlet.
right here.
And we could go in there, and that was shallow. We could hardly get the
Is that
boat
the
in
Alafai
because
River?
It was so shallow.
Alafai River
In Riverview.
in
Yeah, and I
Riverview.
wrote the word Colson's
Over here.
across.
This is where the
Oh,
lives
okay.
in.
There's a little tiny inlet from the water.
Okay, what'd you do over there?
Well, we'd swim over there, but you couldn't walk in the mud.
Oh.
Get up to Colson, so you'd have to go in
See,
this
we
little
live here.
pepper and mud. We had sand. So we had kind of a beach. But then across the river where we'd swim to Colson's,
But what would we do down on our little beach at night?
go
before-
swimming, we had to come take a bath.
We'd go down there and go
To stay
skinny
cool.
dipping.
You swim in the river to take a bath?
Go skinny dipping,
There's
take
alligators
her.
With the, with the alligators?
Hot, and you couldn't even
There
sleep.
was
It
alligators
so
in that
hot.
river at that time.
I'm sure.
Well, and now there was, if you swam up the river a little bit, I don't know where, someplace up and through here, there was a sandy bank right
Right,
here.
correct.
And every time you went up here, this whole thing was covered with alligators,
Right.
you know, out in the sun.
And you guys out there swimming in it.
I'd be up on the roof taking a look
It may
at the
not have
damn
been covered, but there was some
Well, there were
alligators.
a lot of them.
with a gun.
So